Sup homies, we're making guns today. Tearout guns, the best type of guns. I want you guys to dig deep with me. I'm going to be making like loops and one shots, and I just want you to see the whole process. Don't forget to ask questions in the comments below. Let's listen to a couple things I just made right here. I'm going to be having all these sounds and the racks here in the Patreon or free download to all the patrons, but we're going to be using this little template to create some guns. It's a group here with another group, and if you see this first group has a saturator, a compressor, and a reverb, and then on top of it we have this main group which has a virtual riot loud rack, some dispersers. This is EQ dispersers, kind of like how Moonbite created his free one for Ableton, and then we have the OG dispersers to give us the tone. So you can use these. I do recommend this is the only thing you do purchase if you want to make Tearout guns, because the disperser gives us that phasey tone and super sick control that we need for the Tearout guns. Now, if you want to listen to what the dispersers sound like with them dispersers off, sounds like that. Dispersers on. So the sub is really controlling the note. So we can change the sub and make different guns. So we'll do like C or D, C sharp, D sharp, E. We'll go ahead and make some guns. So let's try C sharp right now. So we have 3 different layers here. We have the sub layer, 2 base layers, an extra base layer, and a transient. Each of these layers have minimal processing, but when they're all together, they're going to get loud. And then, of course, the reverb will be on all the group. We'll start with a sub here on 1. If you look here, we're using this sub, we're using this J106 noise, using this LFO on the level of the noise. We have distortion on as well, drive on 82. This is the sub. And then if we combine it with a bass, we can start making a gun here. So I'll delete these. If we have a C sharp note being played, then C sharp will be best for samples we choose. And we can just find like one shots from all the different packs that you have. And we want them to be labeled so we can easily transpose them up and down. So like something like this. This is an F. And if we want to transpose it to C sharp, we'll put it in complex. We'll pitch it down. You can see here on the piano that C sharp is here. And we also have F right here. So if we're at F over here, we go down 1, down another, and another. So we count each step. So that's 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 steps. Then we'll pitch it down 4. So now this sounds like that compared to... So it sounds a lot cooler. When we combine it with the sub, we have a nice sound here. The sub too, we can mess with the length. If you want a long sub. Same thing with the sample. You can mess with the length. So you can chop it and fade it. Make something tighter, for example. I kind of like this tightness, so we can keep that, and let's try to find another sound that's a little bit longer to fill up that section. Cool. This one's already in D, so we can easily go to complex and we can just pitch it down 1. So if you look here, D is right here, and then if you go down, we're at C sharp. That's an easy transposition. Let's listen to what this sounds like. Before, after. And of course you can mix these down. Turn it down, turn it up. Maybe find a sweet spot. We can mess with the fades too to see if anything sounds cooler. That does sound cooler. Tighter usually is nice, more control. But sometimes you want it to be long. This transient hit This is more like a percussion sample. We can search for like perk. Stuff like this, you know. We can even get like this. We can fade it. You can even pitch it in complex. Kind of just make like a transient hit. This is being dispersed. This is being EQ'd as well. This is more just adding extra oomph to the beginning of the sound, which is like the transient, the attack. Or after. You can barely notice it. Just adding a little bit of oomph right there. Okay, cool. Oh, this is sounding nice. Maybe mess with different sub timings. As soon as you like it, we have a little section right here where we can record. Resampling is already turned on in this section. When you hit record here, we can record this whole thing that's playing. Now we have our gun. I can rename this to gun 3 C#. And then I can go ahead and move this to where the other guns are that I made. We can go ahead and listen. We have the first gun, second gun, third gun. And then I am making like a little loop out of it. So like the second gun, for example, I made this loop. So you basically just use the gun and you can chop it up and fade it. I can show you how we do that. So we'll make a loop now with this gun. Make a nice little loop. And then up here we have some drums and sub that we'll add after. And then we'll make a nice little drum loop and see if it sounds good. So for this one we can mess with different timings. So you can try super fast like this. I am paying attention to the grid. There are 4 different sections here. If you see, we can highlight 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we choose the first section and then the other 3. Then we can duplicate it. So I'm just paying attention to the lines and lining up a cool rhythm. So then I kind of imagine this being here, and then maybe we can grab a cool little piece like this. Then we can make something new out of this one with the fade. We could even pitch it down in complex, or these other modes, make like a new bass. You don't really have to pay attention to keys much because the disperser is making everything go crazy. The sub will have to be the main thing. This is the old loop. This is the new one starting here. This is where we're working. And now I can kind of repeat this. Make a little rhythm there. Oh, and then we can probably just repeat this whole section. Let's listen. Then we can repeat like that. And then now we can listen to how it would sound like with a sub. Oh, I have a clean sub over here. And I recorded it. I labeled it sub D. And then now I can use the audio to fade it. This sub here actually went down, so this one's a C. So I'll get one of these subs, put it in this section. We know that this is D, so we have to pitch it to C#. So if it's at D, we just go down 1. Then we're going to be at C#, shown here. You can go ahead and change this to C#. Change this one to C. Cool. So then now we want to essentially line up the rhythms. So we'll get this sub, and then we'll get this. And then now we can see kind of where the subs go. So with the sub, you can move it left and right, and it'll fade automatically if it's already faded. And we'll just line it up to where the other ones end. And we can mess with the fades accordingly. We want as much sub to play as possible. You can go ahead and then make each sub line up to each bass shot. And this one will be longer, just like this. We can even fade it out, kind kind of how it's faded out over here. We're going to grab this sub, make a new one. We can fade this one out in a cool way. So each sub starts to become its own unique sub. Do this, copy this, bring it back here. Copy this one, bring it back here. Same thing. Make sure everything's lined up to the bases, subs on the bases. Cool, so that's the first little section there. You can go ahead and listen to what that sounds like. You can duplicate it now. And then in certain sections like this, if you want to extend the sub and just let it roll through, you can do that. You have the option and full control with the sub using audio like this, so it's really fun. And then when I make the loop, I can, export the loop with or without the sub, so you guys can have both, and it's easy. Now, of course, you want some drums, so you'll need some rides and stuff. And then your kicks and your snares. Sick. Then boom, we got gun 3 down. Let's go and listen to all of our stuff so far. So you can see how this is all lining up. It's basically already sounding like a sample pack teaser. So now we can go on and move on to over here. And I want you to keep in mind too, if this loop section, this loop section is still in this group with the Marauda maker. So it's being affected by the dispersers and by the loud rack. If we turn it off, it sounds completely different. So we resample the sounds with a disperser, and then we add more dispersers on top of the audio samples. And that's how we're getting the sound. And of course, the sub is by itself very clean, doing the same rhythm and matching the same key as the original sub. So let's go ahead and go back here to our gun maker. Let's make some more guns. And that's now we can get creative. So let's try to do different stuff. Try to think outside the box. Let's go ahead and move this one to D sharp this time. I'm going to find something nice. Keep in mind this bass one is the only one with reverb. We have a nice tight convolution reverb going on here. And then on the group, we have another convolution reverb. So 2 reverbs total on this group and on this individual bass. The rest of them will not have reverb on. Basses. You see these are already in D sharp, so that's nice. Go ahead and get this. Put it in here. Kind of fade it a little. That sounds really cool. If we move it -12, this is also D sharp, but it's an octave lower. We can kind of test this tone. We can even go on Complex Pro and mess with the formants. I like that though. Cool, so with this bass we can mess with different volumes. And then we can even try different effects. We can add another disperser, as well as tonal effects like flanger, phasers, delays, I'm going to be trying to delay. So you see, we have different tones as we move it left and right. Not really paying attention to this here. We can move the pinch up more too. Gosh, that's mean. You kind of see what it's doing there. Oof, that's hard. Get a delay and kind of make like a rhythm delay. See if we can add some cool tones. So if you put it in a time and go like around, 7 to 27, you can mess with this feedback to taste. Try and wet up. You can add some nice metallic-y. Bring it back. I kind of liked how it sounded. Nice little 27. 21 is cool. Before. After. We're adding a little bit of tonal qualities. I like that. You can go ahead and then record it by hitting this record button. Now we can move this over here. Call this one gun 4, D sharp. Now we can make a little loop with it. See if we can come up with something cool. We're gonna. Now it does sound different, so I'm gonna go back here and just. It looks like those extra dispersers are making it sound a little bit too much. Basically, what we're gonna do is leave it out. We will move it over here. So if you listen, it actually sounds a lot cooler when it's layered on top of itself. What I'll do is just make another one and resample that sound. We'll use that as the gun. Hit record, hit solo here, hit solo on, and you can hit record. And this one right here should be our final version. Then this, we can go ahead and move right here. Call this one gun 4. So we will have some guns in the group and some guns outside the group. And I'll just make sure I know that. This one was D sharp, I believe. You can also listen to what these sound like outside the group. Sound pretty nice. Back in. And then with this group, we'll have to make sure of an EQ8 because we're going to be adding the sub on separate sub. Listen to these two. No disp loops. And we need to make the no disp one shots as well. So I'm going to have one shots and loops. It's going to be hard. It's going to be like let's try to make something cool. Make something fast, maybe. Ooh. So maybe want to do a little cool rhythm with this. We could try this. It's pretty cool. Listen to what that sounds like looped. We can change it here. We can kind of do like triplets maybe. Let's see what that sounds like. Bum, 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 bum. That's what I want. Yeah. Okay, I like that loop. Now we can go ahead and get our sub. Paste it here. So if the original sub is in D, we need to go to D sharp. So we go up one. Now this is going to be the D sharp sub. Cool. And then we can go ahead and line it up as needed with the basses. We'll let a lot play out as much as we can. Still try to add some dynamics with stuff that's short like this. So like this one can be tighter. This one uses some really fast subs here. That's cool. Maybe let this one roll out. Copy these to these, this to this, and then it looks like we can move this. I remember this is the section where we did the triplet, so I'll delete everything and go ahead and roll some triplets in here. Let's listen there. Oh, that's the wrong section. This section here, let me label it real quick. Number 4. Ooh, and I'll add a convolver gun on here as well. Just add some reverb. We'll copy the rides and the stuff, the drums. Cool, now we can go ahead and listen. So I'm kind of hearing like a long sub right here, so we can let that roll out. Maybe we can repeat it right there like that. Like that. So then we'll repeat these subs. We definitely want these to be fat subs, it sounds like, so we'll beef them up. And this section right here. So when I find cool sections like this, you can like just copy them out. We can like make new rhythms, We can try new things with it. So we'll copy the rides and drums. Gonna see if we can make something dope. So I'll just create new rhythms. That's cool. I'm going to go ahead and color these differently because they're little special ones. Like I just imagine like chants, cool chants. Maybe like Ace. He's Ace. And then whenever you get your chance, you can make them cool, like pitch them down. And fade it. Actually, it will be better if you warp this in complex and go down. Add an amp. Make it beefy. Turn it up a little. Cool. And then like drum fills would go in between. So we can and like drum fill, or we can type in fill 150, stuff like that. And then over here we'll type in 150, the original. And then actually we could leave it in beats since it's a drum. Now it'll be perfect in time. Gosh, that is so fun. Kind of see how I'm making these guns here. Trying new things. I want you guys to get used to trying new things. Making sure that you stay in key. Making sure that you use the disperser and test different variations to what sounds the best. It's all about what flows the best, what rhythms are cool. Use your beat grid and have fun. Hope you guys enjoy this. All these sounds and more will be in the Patreon so you can get extra guns and fun times. Otherwise, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You guys are sick. Lost Lands is coming soon. Have a great day. Peace out.